going to work. Hi, Pamela Bellison here, and we're going to start this first video, or the second one actually, off with talking about studio safety. I want to talk about this before I get into any tools, skills, techniques building, skill building. I want to talk about studio safety because this is critical. This is the number one thing that you should always be thinking about when you're setting up a space and while you're working. This is critical for your lungs, for your limbs, for your eyesight. And so I want to go over a few of these very quickly, okay? The first thing is clothing. One of the things that you want to make sure that when you are starting to work is that you are not wearing heavy synthetic clothing. Synthetics are a lot of plastic, and I know that there's a lot of synthetic mixed in with organic materials like cotton, but you want to make sure that you're not working in some polyester pants or long sleeve polyester shirts or something like that. This can, later on, when you start working with a torch, if you drop something, which will happen, if you happen to drop it in your lap, that could melt very quickly to your skin, and we don't want anything like that to happen. So one of the things is to make sure that you're wearing some grungy old pair of jeans or something, things that you don't care about too much, and some sleeves that are short or that you can easily roll up, things that aren't going to dangle into hot metal or the flame of a torch if you reach for something or whatever. You just don't want to have anything dangling into a flame, an open flame. Talking about dangling, you don't want your hair dangling. So you want to either braid your hair back if you have long hair, or put it up like I do. I either put it up or it's in braids. I made the mistake once of, I was at a show and I was demonstrating, and when I do shows, it's kind of fun to be all dressed up and my hair's all fixed and my makeup and all this stuff, and then demonstrate with a big torch and some hammers and the anvil and all this stuff, and the guys go, I don't know, I kind of find that a little fun. However, one time I did begin demonstrating. My hair was all long and curled, and I went to grab my flex shaft. It was the first thing I was doing in the morning, and I went to start the flex shaft and it didn't start. So I let the flex shaft go, and I went, oh, I forgot to flip the rocker switch on the power strip, and I bent down and I pushed the on button, and my hair got caught up in the flex shaft, and it went, because this was a traveling one, it was just a Dremel, and so it was still on, and that wound up my hair real quick. That was a little scary, and I knew better than that. So you definitely want to have your hair tied back, braided, or whatever if you have long hair. The same goes for wearing long dangly jewelry in the studio. I do not generally wear anything other than maybe a pair of earrings, and I'm wearing earrings just because I'm filming. But I generally don't wear, I never wear necklaces unless they're just something short sitting up here. But I've had students come in with big scarves wrapped around them and all stylish looking, or long necklaces that they wanted to show that they had made or something, and they want to keep them on, and it's like, that's, anything dangling is a no-no in the studio. Okay, clothing, hair, aprons. When you're talking about your clothing, an apron is really good. This is not my first apron. This is my second, and in 20 years, almost 20 years. My first apron was a heavy denim apron that my husband gave me from his shop, and I wore that for years until it had holes in it, and I was duct taping on both sides the holes closed until one year for Christmas he gave me this wonderful leather apron. And this really protects my body, it protects my lap, and I love it. I like that it has pockets for my handy dandy flashlight and my Sharpie marker and anything else I happen to stick in there. Clothing, hair, dangling, tools, or jewelry, lungs, to protect your lungs. One of the most important rules in whatever space you're working in, particularly when you get into working with a torch or any chemicals like flux, pickle, patinas, and so on, is ventilation. Ventilation is very, very important for keeping your lungs safe. And there is a rule of thumb that you should always have a place for the bad air to go out and a source of good air to come in. And to have a small, my studio is, what, 9 by 10, something like that. It's a tough shed. And I have 2 windows, but I also have ventilation here. And behind this filter is a very strong fan that I can adjust how much it flows, how much air it pulls. And I have a pickle pot. Oh, right there. That's my pickle pot. And you'll find out what that is later if you don't already know. I have that right below there. And when I'm doing techniques where I'm soldering and working with any other chemicals, when I'm fluxing and soldering and so on, I turn the vent on so that I have a way to pull the bad air out. But you want to pull good air in as well. And on both my windows, I have, there's screens on them. So I can open the window a little bit and have a source for the good air to come in. And this is very important to protect your lungs. Eyes, safety goggles, or large glasses. And those are also very, very important because later on you would be working with rotary tools, and even something as simple as just sawing a piece of metal out. You can have a saw blade break and it can possibly fly up into your eyes, and you really, really want to protect your eyes. So wearing some safety goggles is very important. Just a second, I'll show you some. So there are 2 kinds of safety goggles in the studio that you'll probably want to have. One is your traditional safety goggles that are clear and you can put over your glasses. So if you need to be able to, if you need your glasses for close-up work, you can still get these safety goggles on over them. The thing that makes them safe is that it goes around the sides generally. They should. And they're deep this way so that nothing can fly up underneath your glasses. And that's very important. I did have that happen to me once, not in the studio, but at a different job. And it was a chemical that came up underneath my glasses and got into my eyes. And I had to immediately go flush while I was calling for somebody to come help me. And I ended up in the emergency room. And it was extremely painful. And fortunately, I didn't have any permanent damage because I responded to it immediately. The second type of goggles that's really important is ones to help you protect your eyes from the really hot spot of the flame. And I don't know if this is why I had cataracts, but I did. I'm 63. 62 now. I'm 62 now, and I was in my late 50s, and I developed cataracts that were right in the very center of my eyes and spread quickly to the outside. And when I discovered it, it was really scary until they said, oh, this is what it is and we can fix it. So it's very important to protect your eyes, because that was really, really a very scary experience. These are particularly good. I think that these were purchased, a friend of mine gave me these. I think these were purchased at a welding shop. And you want to make sure that you get something that you can see through, but will protect you from that whitest hot light from a torch. The last thing I'll share with you is one of the ways that I also protect my eyes, and that is so that I can see the work that see what it is that I'm working on, the details. Be right back. I have a rather large stack of bandanas, and these bandanas I wrap my head in, and I put my OptiVisor on. My OptiVisor allows me to enlarge what it is that I'm working on and see it more clearly. One of the things that I do tell beginning students is an OptiVisor is about $50 some odd if you get that brand from a jewelry supplier. You can find less expensive types of the same thing. You can find them at a craft or hobby store, and they're a little flimsier. The parts may not be as well made. They're all still going to be plastic, but the good standard thing that everybody tends to use is, in the industry, the most common one is OptiVisor. There are things that are a lot more expensive that you can get that are particular for your eyes. There are some people out there that do some for, you give them your prescription and you tell them what kind of magnification you want, and they can really make you some really nice little glass pieces that go on, and you're talking hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But I protect my forehead skin because I don't like the plastic on there, especially in the summertime when I might be a little warm. All day it's plastic and it's grimy and it's dirty and stuff. So I like to keep the skin on my forehead clean. I do also have a little thing. I just recently discovered this piece at a weld shop where I get my oxygen bottles refilled, and this also helps. But it can be adjusted for your head once you move your hair clip out of the way. And lets me see better. I also generally take off my nice glasses, and I have a cheap pair of glasses that I wear in the studio. This is my prescription. But if you can't afford an OptiVisor, or if you are looking for something really inexpensive, you might also try going to your local pharmacy and seeing if you can get some readers, that the largest magnification of readers, and you want work that is 10 inches from you. And this is where you want magnification, so you can try those. What I recommend my students do is try some readers on at the pharmacy, some strong ones. Hold up your finger about 8 to 10 inches away from you and see how much your fingerprint is enlarged. And if you can really see the details of your fingerprint, that's perfect. That's what you want. Otherwise, you might want to just try a hobby store or something. Anyhow, this is what I look like when I work. Sometimes my hair is braided and sometimes it's up. This is my happy space. And I hope that through these tutorials that I'll share with you, that I help you build a happy space for you, both physically a space and a happy space in your head. Many people have found new things during the pandemic, and I wish that I would have started this earlier in the year, but quite honestly, I didn't necessarily handle this whole new normal very well either. So anyhow, the next class will, the other thing that I'm going to do is teach ergonomics, proper ergonomics. I want you to develop good habits from the beginning, healthy for your body. And the ergonomics of tasks, various tasks, I'll point that out at some point in the video. My next video is going to be about the most basic tools that you need that are not expensive, but that you'll be able to want to accumulate, and that will allow you to do all the beginning metal smithing projects that I will have for you. And you won't need a big expensive list of tools. I'll explain to you also which tools you might want to purchase only through a jewelry supplier, or that you can get at like a hardware store or a hobby store. I hope that you return for that video. And again, share if you want to do this together with some friends. You can Zoom together when you do a project. However works for you, your family, whatever. I hope that you join me, and I hope you have a lot of fun. So let's get ready to play, okay?